Today is Tuesday, March 17th, and you're listening to the Beer Temple Podcast.
Remember, this is what we wanted. Remember, this is what we said. To never be heard or seen from again. Remember, this is what we wanted. Remember, this is what we said. To never be heard or seen from again.
Hello, and welcome to the Beer Temple Podcast. I'm your co-host, Mike Shallau from Is Was Brewing. I'm here with your other co-host, Chris Quinn of the Beer Temple. Chris, how you doing?
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Happy St. Patrick's Day, yes.
How you doing?
I'm great. Thank you for dyeing every beer at the Beer Temple green, both draft and package. I don't know how you got the zombie dust green in the cans, but
Well, it's
pretty impressive.
A lot of practice.
Yeah.
Takes a lot of practice.
This is a big holiday for you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. For business-wise?
Both. You're an Irishman.
Business-wise, not really.
Yeah.
It's
It's pretty
very,
busy right
very
now.
average day for us, typically.
It's busy right now for a Tuesday.
That's true. It's true. It is. So maybe there's some spillover. But, yeah, I dropped my children off at a bar at 10 in the morning and then drove away. True story. This morning. They were with my mother.
Okay.
And then went and did some work and then met up with them an hour later. And then, listened to music and watched Irish dancers for a couple hours. And then,
Nice.
yeah, kids off school today and tomorrow. Real
Election
pain
day. Not tomorrow?
Yeah.
Oh, it's like a professional development day
Tuesday,
or something
Wednesday.
for
Couldn't have been
teachers?
Monday, Tuesday. Had to be Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yes.
You know, to ensure nothing gets done this week. So,
Are you bringing them tomorrow to the brew day?
no, I was in charge of them today, and Margaret has them tomorrow. So,
Gotcha.
yeah. So, no, they're not coming to the brew day.
All right.
Unless they really want to come, and then probably still not coming.
Probably still shouldn't, yeah.
No.
You can pet cats, I guess.
Yeah, but they won't. They won't want to be there.
Yeah, no.
There's nothing worse than kids
The only thing
who
worse than
don't-
kids being bored in a tap room is kids being bored inside the brewery.
Yeah, yeah. that's
What does
no
this
good.
lever do?
Right.
So how did you miss me?
I did.
Yeah.
Not as much as I miss Surge.
Yeah, well, we can't all be Surge.
Right. Yeah, how was your time away?
It was good. I was in Jalisco, Mexico, getting some agave hearts.
Flex.
I think, looking at a bunch of burnt out Oxos and having a good time.
Yeah?
Yeah, we
Staying out of the way of the cartel?
we did have one very brief cartel sighting,
Yes.
but we just drove down the street. They followed us for a little bit, and then they stopped following us. So it's fine.
Enough to, I mean,
Good thing my wife doesn't listen to the podcast
I'm
because
sure
she would
you're-
be freaking out because I'm not
There was
telling
probably
her.
a
I'm leaving that
little-
part out of the stories of what we did. But
so
it was
you probably felt the sweat starting to form, but it wasn't long enough for it to start running down your face yet. But it started.
So we had talked to people like who lived there about what had happened, and what they were saying was that there was like maybe 4, maybe 6 hours of actual like activity by the cartel, mostly blowing up, targeting chain gas stations. That the hearsay was that were owned by opposing cartels and some banks, and then they definitely did pull people out of their cars and burn their cars, but that wasn't happening where we were going, and they were
Just
like,
where we were.
and what the vibe
Yeah.
from the people we were staying with was, they live in this, these rural towns in Mexico is like, we don't have any business with them. They don't have any business with us. Like, we sometimes see them come through, but like, we just don't. It's not really a part of our life.
Right. Still pretty wild. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if it had gone on for longer, we're driving these windy, dirt roads in rural Mexico with the cartel following you is weird. But we were like in more of a town, and they just drove down the main street just to be like, we're here right now. Mm-hmm. And you could tell, like, it was not a normal car for that area.
Got it.
But I don't know, I wasn't scared at any point.
No.
But it
no
was
one got a Colombian necktie or anything like that.
the cocktail.
Oh, is that a cocktail?
I don't know.
Oh,
It sounds like
okay.
a cocktail.
No.
No one got any sort of anything. But we went to a bunch of cool raicilla producers, which was really fun. Got to eat some roasted blue Weber agave, which is insanely sweet. Like 45 bricks when it's roasted, which is like honey is like 60. It's like
Oh, wow.
it's really, really sweet. And then found out that like the price of blue Weber specifically has like fallen through the floor in the last couple of years because there was a lot of overproduction to restock barrel stock at the big tequila producers, and so everyone started planting blue Weber agave, and now they're like, nope, we don't need it. So like fields are just not even like they're pennies on the dollar, like rotting.
Right.
So
Just the
because it takes 4 years to
Yeah.
actually
grow one of
grow one of them. Yeah.
them. Yeah.
So that was a little, depressing for the people of that region where, they could have been, for places like that, like generational wealth if they actually were able to sell this agave when it was the height of the heights and they're, now pennies on the dollar. Yeah. Yeah.
Just missed
it. And so, and these are not people who like already are rich and then could have, a generation. And generational wealth is different, but,
Right.
it's people that like, probably spent some money and a ton of labor on something that is now valueless, and it was really kind of depressing.
Thanks, George Clooney.
Yeah, thanks, George. I blame The Rock mostly,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
or Kendall Jenner, or
All the people who came
Aaron
after.
Paul. Yeah,
All the people who saw.
I mean,
Everyone who said, wait, he sold it for what? Wait,
for how many with a B? Like
Oh.
Ballast Point?
Yeah. Okay. We're in two.
Yeah. Yeah, but the raicilla producers were incredible. Bunch of varietals of agave I'd never heard of before, and really cool production methods, really interesting flavor profiles.
Well, as far as beer news went, nothing happened while you were gone. So don't worry about that.
Technically, I think that news broke while I was still in Chicago. 'Cause I
Oh.
texted you about it. And,
But I don't know where you're texting
I didn't
me
have
from.
signal most of the time.
Yeah.
I share my location with you. You don't share your location with me?
I don't look at other people's locations.
No, I'm just
or
joking.
share.
I would never share my location with anyone. That's fucked up.
I don't even know if I would know how to do that. So yeah, so big news. We're probably going to talk a little bit more about that this week. I think I need to get your take. I threw out my molten takes hours after
I'm
the
sure
news.
they're still steaming back here.
Oh my god, it's still
Smoldering.
Yeah, they're smoldering. They're
Now steaming was
no,
right.
they're steaming. They're steaming piles at this point. They're steaming piles.
Yeah.
But yeah, we should we get right into it? Or is there any more banter that we should?
Oh, we should get into it.
Okay, then let's introduce the members of the round table this week. We always introduce in order of seniority. This is a tough one for
Pretty
me.
close. I think.
Who do you think it is?
I think it's Mr. Jacob Sembrano with
All right.
Blanca.
Okay. Then it is. What's up, Jacob?
Hi, how's it going?
It's going pretty well.
Yeah.
What's up with you, man?
A lot and nothing at the same time.
Okay.
It's like how twisted that kind
Wow.
of stuff works out.
Deep.
We are personally doing pretty well. Found out I have a hernia, so I got to get that dealt with.
Dude, welcome to the club, man.
Sports hernia.
It's an umbilical hernia, so it's still really small, too small for surgery. But so I want to stay ahead of it.
Where are those? Are those the ones that are at your belly button?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I got too.
Oh, nice. Did you get surgery on it?
Nah, my dad has one too.
Yeah. So I hear you.
It
can
hurts
live-
like literally right now, but other than that, it's
Yeah,
fine.
I hear you can live the rest of your life with it, or it gets bad. So it just kind of depends on.
My doctor said when it's bad, it looks like you have an alien coming out of
Oh,
you.
well, I'm
So,
in good. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not there yet. So.
Yeah.
Did you just discover it because you had pain lifting
Well,
something? Or what was it?
last Monday it was like a particularly really hard workout at the gym, and we were doing a lot of like
Yeah, that's how I got mine.
abdominal extensions and deadlifts and stuff like that. And the hour later, I was in the shower and I was, washing my stomach, and I was like, something doesn't feel like it used to. So I got it, I went to a doctor, and they're like, well, it's pretty normal. A lot of people have them. It could be bad or it may be not. It just depends on how you want to deal with it. So, I'm going to do some physical therapy, and apparently strengthening your core is the way to deal with it.
I was told.
That's
I mean, that was
bunch of
one
sit-ups.
opinion. I got a second
you
opinion.
can't do sit-ups
which said
because
do
that
nothing.
exacerbates it. So
Planking.
but it's planks, stuff like that. But it's really funny. It's like the advice that, depending on who you talk to, like if you want to continue to work out, they advocate for like you should continue to work out, and you should, but just be mindful about it. You want to strengthen to prevent any additional tear, but for some people, if they work out and they don't know how to do it, they will totally exacerbate it. So it's a world of contradiction, is what I find. Just like beer.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
let me know how it goes for you.
Yeah.
I'll share any changes with me. So
We're in the process of getting our stuff together for our 10-year anniversary.
Wow.
whoa,
Nice.
On Friday, we're brewing a collab with the other 10-year anniversarians of Chicago. So we've got Hopewell, Dovetail, and OIB. So we're doing a little 4-year
Nice.
class of 2016 collab, which we're all kind of really looking forward to. It's cool. 10 years, man. We've all been weathered the storm. And then I'm speaking at CBC this year in Philly over exploring Mexican lager.
Cool.
So there's, it's kind of funny. We think we know a lot about Mexican lager, and then we don't. And 2 other people on the panelists were helped the BA write the stylistic guidelines for light, pale, amber, and dark Mexican lager when they opened it up for judging last year at JBF. So there's a wealth of knowledge there, and yeah, I mean that's not 45 minutes of an education talk. That's like 5 hours, but to take what we know and condense it is terribly hard. So we're trying to figure that out, and we're going to release a beer that we did in collaboration with the other panelists at Cruz that we brewed with some Oaxacan green corn, which is kind of cool. So yeah,
cool.
pretty normal stuff, and not all at the same time. So yeah, pretty cool.
All right. Well, thanks for. Good to see you. I think last time you were virtual, right?
Yeah,
So,
virtual.
and then last but not least, the junior member, but still pretty senior, is Mr. Eric Hobbs. What's up, dude?
Always happy to be back.
Yeah, man.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. What's new with you?
No major injuries.
Good.
we just celebrated our 1 year at Blind Corner, so
Congratulations.
feels like I've been doing this a lot longer than that. Which
Yeah.
certainly
Well, you
have.
kind of
We
have.
certainly
Yeah.
have. However, our little moment is still very young, and I'm doing well. So we were stoked to have a great party at the brewery. Big turnout. Turned out to be a beautiful day. So we had a little après ski vibe that day. Brought it indoor outdoor. Turned out to be perfect bluebird for the day. So it was sunny and 45, 50 degrees, and had some fire pits going. So tons of friends and family showed up. It was great to celebrate 1 year in. So yeah,
Great.
that's kind of where we're at.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw some of the posts about your 1 year, the little outdoor kind of winter celebration.
That's the one thing when you have your anniversary in January. We kicked it to February, first of all, because we knew January wasn't
Yeah.
ideal. And February was just one of those random weekends that turned out great. But yeah, we have a very beautiful tap room, but a very small shared tap room with Go Brewing. So you can't really accommodate a lot of people. It was lucky that we were able to open the outdoors. Even if it was snowing or raining or whatever, we would have figured it out, but it turned out to be a gorgeous day.
Well, what's
very
your
lucky.
actual anniversary day?
January 24th.
24th, okay. I think ours is the 7th, January.
Yeah.
Also, we straight up kicked it to like May.
Yeah.
Right, whatever.
Well,
Nobody cares.
You know, we didn't realize that we put it on Dark Lager Day, which most of our people would have intended Dark Lager Day, which we
Right.
have years past. Pretty much all of them except to this one. So I might boot it one more week to give that day back to not like we lost to Tom or Tom lost to us, but yeah, we didn't think about it when we put the date, and we announced it literally the same day he announced Dark Lager Day.
Right.
I was like, man, we got to pick a different day.
Yeah.
So we'll figure that out. That's next year. That's future Eric's problem.
Yes. Yes. Well, thanks for making it in here. Good to see you. Yeah, also in person. Well, where should we start? Slow news
Do you want
week.
to talk about beers that we've had?
Oh yeah, we should. Have you had any beers lately that you've enjoyed?
I mean, I probably shouldn't have brought it. I haven't been drinking much beer. I've been drinking mostly agave spirits, but I did have the best Pacifico of my life on a boat on the Pacific coast of Mexico while we were on a trip. Just people diving.
The flex is the humble brags.
Diving for wild oysters and coming back up and just letting us eat them on the boat while we were drinking Pacificos and everyone except for Lou was having a great time. Lou got sick. Not because of the oysters. The oysters were great. They're big suckers.
Does sound pretty crazy.
Big, like, Gulf oyster kind of vibe.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But very delicious.
Okay.
So
Good.
Pacifico, I guess.
Pacifico. All right. Well, hey, there's a time and a place for pretty much
Yeah.
every beer.
Yeah.
I was
I'd
in the
say-
Pacific Ocean, so.
Yeah. And it's probably nice and warm, and that was a refreshing beer. And
Yep.
Yeah. Good. Boy, oh boy. Anyone can jump in there while I kind of think of mine. I mean, I had some Guinness today. It seems that's appropriate.
Can
for
I give
today.
it? I'll just give a shameless plug.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we brewed recently that I feel like we're pretty proud of is this Halasiara. We brewed a beer for the Bavarian Lodge 40th anniversary.
Oh.
People kind of forget about the Bavarian Lodge because it's out in the burbs. But I mean, I liken it to status of like, Hop Leaf.
Yeah.
They've just been around forever.
Yep.
And they've got a tremendous lineup of amazing beers all the time, great people, zero turnover. I mean, it's like lifetime. Once you plug in there, you stay. So we brewed this beer with Alan and his mother and his team, designed it for him, and we're just particularly stoked to celebrate somebody who has been such a instrumental part of building the community that we all enjoy. So, I'm going to throw that out there for Alan and his mother, Geraldine Yaroslova, who was kind enough to let us just dig into their history and pull it all out for this project. It was fun. So that was one I'm particularly proud of JP's batch of beer for this. This is good.
Cool.
And if anybody wants to try one, I got a few.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Nice.
Yeah.
This is always like a really hard question because when you asked me last, I was in in the Hudson Valley, which there's no shortage of really great beer. But back in January, was up in Michigan at the Great Beer State Michigan, it's their equivalent of their guild conference, and had a little petite saison from a brewery called Elder Piper that's in Petoskey on its way to Traverse City. I think that's right. But it's this really dainty little 3.4% or something like that of this really airy little table saison that was really full and really light and airy and really funky, and I just really stuck with me. And that's when something like hits you like that, you remember it, and it's been on my mind a lot, and I really liked it. So.
Well, that's a good
That's
beer
awesome.
then. Yeah, if
Yeah.
it's something that just stuck in your
And,
mind.
and the funny thing is that he hands these bottles out like it's just very nonchalantly, just like of no consequence to his financial loss. But I think that he's probably giving more out than he's selling. But to that point, it's really cool, and it's when sometimes it takes that outside spread of word to kind of get awareness. And I don't think he has any trouble getting people into his tap room, but I really like that beer a lot, and it was really cool.
That's awesome.
Well, we spent a lot of the week a lot of the time last week when we were with, or I was with Michael Roper of the Hop Leaf and Keith Lemke.
Did those guys have any opinions?
No. No, they didn't.
Huh. Slow show then.
Yeah.
No one wanted to talk.
No talkers
Yeah.
between the three of us. It was pretty. Yeah, it was like having 3 Jerry Nelsons on.
you guys
Was
just-
anybody listening to
You
each
guys
other?
do like
or
a,
is
just
it
like a
just like-
Safdie brothers all talk over each other and fade in and out kind of.
Basically.
Yeah.
I just listen to the rhythm. I don't really listen. I just wait for a silence, so then I can say
Get your
what
right.
I've been just repeating in my own head and fully concentrating on that.
Now that's hosting.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So the news of the joining of Maplewood and Half Acre, I'm saying it that way because that's the word they use.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's not very descriptive, but was hours old when we went on last time. And I figured with pretty much exactly a week under it, and with you not having been here, we should probably talk about it because I've kind of changed some of my thoughts on it personally. But I will say, before I even speak to it, exactly the same as last week's steaming pile that is still smoldering over there. Festering. My takes are just as uninformed and just as hot, I promise you.
Yeah.
So that's what I have to say. But what was your thought?
I mean,
Mike?
it was genuinely shocking. Like I was shocked by it. I was like confused at first. I'm like, huh. The post originally looked to me like, oh, they're making a collaboration. Weird. That's not like something Half Acre really does that much.
Yeah.
Like that. I'm like, huh. Why are they doing that? I'm like, oh, they're buying them or something. Then figured out like there was something much bigger going on, and then it was confusing. But then it made certain aspects of it made a lot of sense. We still don't know exactly what the structure is, right? But the idea that Maplewood contracts all of their best-selling beers and that Half Acre obviously has extra production capacity. First, I thought it was like, oh, it's like a art history thing where they're just going to brew there. And then,
Right.
oh, no, it's more involved than that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we still don't know, and we may never actually know what the
I think
structure
we'll have a
is.
pretty good idea. Well, maybe not of like the ownership structure. We may never know. We may know, but but we know some stuff already.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know how much more we know than a week ago. Though,
Right.
frankly.
When it says like a merger, but then it said the person who's currently the CEO of Half Acre will be the CEO of both companies. You're like, well, that's sounds more like an acquisition than a merger. So.
It does, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. And also, there's like an interesting wrinkle to it too that like legally, one brewing entity is only supposed to be allowed to have 3 separate public-facing locations. So like they would only be able to have the Balmoral tap room, the city Maplewood tap room, and the one they're opening out in the suburbs.
Yeah, they'd be
and
maxed
then
out.
Be maxed out. Which
There you go.
for a company that's as protective of their brand as Half Acre, it felt very weird to me that 2 of their public-facing outlets that they would own and operate, if that's like the structure of the deal, would not be their brand. Was interesting to me if that's how that goes down. And then thought that maybe there's some other structure that they're looking at.
Maybe it'll be Maple
Maplewood's
Acres.
Maplewood, or maybe Maplewood is going to be focusing on, like they operate those things on their own. They'll focus on making more tap rooms or something. But we don't know anything about that yet.
Yeah.
So.
That could be a problem for some other day.
Right.
Future Eric.
Yeah.
Their future.
Probably
Eric.
never future Eric.
Future Eric has so many problems.
Yeah.
Current Eric, just vibing.
Yeah.
Just vibes.
What were your? I mean, I know you had thoughts, Eric. I mean, I know you had thoughts too.
I mean,
Jacob.
I was less shocked, if I'm being honest. I was less shocked. I think if I'm thinking about it through the lens of craft beer now, my guess would be they're not just, it's not all there on the surface, right? I would guess like they start a third company. If they start a third company and that third company owns production, each company, Half Acre and Maplewood, then contracts out of that. So like employees, benefits, all the stuff for producing that beer lives in that third company, which Kevin, Half Acre CEO, would run. Then they each individually still exist, and license, and then can operate retail independently, can operate wholesale independently, and almost like that third company would create like a suite of options in terms of what they could utilize to share production. Simple as that. That's how I would see that going if I was going to write the plan for myself. That's what I would guess. Mm-hmm. And then it keeps all the independence, the way you're describing it, retail, brand, expression of self, without any sort of like weight of another's opinion.
Yeah.
I would think that'd be simple. But I don't know. I mean, we're going to learn, right? We're going to see what happens.
We'll see.
You know what? We might not learn that. I don't know. We'll see. That's what I would think would probably be the structure, but I don't know.
One of the most interesting things I think is probably the most impactful was to see how distribution gets handled, right? Because part of the point of coming together, as they describe it, is to make those things more efficient. And they don't share a distributor in Chicago.
Yeah.
And Maplewood's current distributor would be quite upset if they left. And I don't think there's any way Half Acre is leaving their distributor.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit last week. We talked about it a good bit last week. Yeah, I mean, long story short, I think Maplewood is much more likely to leave their distributor than Half Acre. It probably won't happen immediately, but is probably in the works.
It could be millions of dollars for brand rights.
Not probably. It would be if it had to happen.
Easily.
Yeah.
So maybe it's I initially kind of like Eric, I thought that is this potentially a third brand they're collaborating on, or
I don't think it's a brand.
Yeah.
I think it's literally just an entity.
Yeah,
it's just an entity that legally makes this manageable.
There's
and easier.
Yeah, but then there's a lot of things that there's an alternating proprietorship that maybe that could like operate under in some weird gray area or new form of, but I think that it was buying power is a big motivator in that. I kind of and don't take these numbers precisely, but I think that if you're a brewery that employs 15 brewers, say, more or less, and you're producing 25,000 barrels, your cap of it at efficiency at which you can get out of the same staff could be 75,000 barrels for not a whole lot of more or like extra work. So your efficiency is in volume. So for Half Acre to potentially take on 20, 30,000 more barrels at a system that's capable of producing a lot more, you're getting a lot more return for that additional volume. And that was my main takeaway from that, is that pulling production out of a co-packer is, we co-packed for a long time. There's not a whole lot of juice to squeeze left. So bringing things in this semblance of internal, keeps the gears, moving. So if you're a large brewery, like sometimes you just need to keep the gears turning, So, and I don't mean this in like in a very like in a like a inhumane way, but cranking again like twice the amount of volume out of the same amount of staff. If you're set up for the efficiency, it doesn't really affect the staff too much more, So I don't know. That was my whole impression, is that it seems like a really, from a surface level volume standpoint, I think it looks really well. Like you're gaining capacity. Maplewood's pulling out of a co-packer at Distill. Yeah, it makes sense. And then you have buying power.
Right.
Sure.
So, I also think there's some like dovetailing to the portfolio that works in a way
totally.
that wouldn't with other brands coming together, where like the hazy pale ale thing is a nut that Half Acre just, while they've made some great ones, nothing's really stuck with the consumer, So like that it's not like nothing competes with Daisy Cutter really, but like they're not like having two Daisy Cutters and cannibalizing each other.
Yeah. is, Half Acre sell lots of beer in Philly. Who's not in Philly? Maplewood's not in Philly.
Right.
Maplewood sells a lot of beer in St. Louis. Who's not in St. Louis? And you don't have to deal with all that brand right BS when you're out of Chicago. So
Now, would that be the case if they used the, like, I mean, I'll use the word shell corporation, although I don't know what that really is, but like a
Parent.
third
Company?
Yeah.
That really wouldn't have any bearing. If that was truly the case, that third company wouldn't exist as like anything other than, like Jacob said, a co-packer. You can assign anybody rights as a contract brewer. If your license still exists and you do a certain amount of it, and you can share a facility, I'm an example of that. You can have that third party exist, and then each brewery remain independent. I'm very curious how that gets
kind
worked
of
out.
like how Solemn Oath had a separate. Didn't they break off a separate brand? Yes.
They did. They did.
Yeah.
I'm not sure the
Yeah.
details.
Okay. Why is
But
that
I've-
so funny?
It happened, I think.
Yeah.
You don't know what it's fun.
Okay. Well, whatever.
All right.
There are always creative ways
yeah,
to move it forward. I wholeheartedly agree, though, with Jacob. There's a lot of economic value adds here that not only preserve what I think Half Acre built at Balmoral, which is nothing short of a spectacular facility. What makes it magical is the people that run it. And you haven't heard about a lot of like mass layoffs over there, have you? Right? And volume isn't exactly
they're holding
going
steady.
up. So
Right.
if they're holding steady, and the same amount of people are still there, and they've preserved that, and now they're bringing more volume in to make those work days fuller, but still manageable. They're doing right by everybody. I see this going in a good direction. We can all speculate, but I do think wholesale is not going to be affected, at least not in the near term. There's no way. That's a big
Big.
thing to manage.
That's big. It's
That
big.
would be my guess.
Right. But yeah, I guess it would be. Well, you'd think that the company that those two breweries would want that streamlined as well. It would just be easier to work
Maybe.
with that.
Maybe.
They would maybe want it. You would think.
Yeah.
Maybe not. But you would think. And then it would just be: does one want to buy out? Does one distributor want to buy out the other? Is there incentive to do that? So, yeah, could. Well, would be very costly, and is there?
Incentive and trust are two very different conversations too.
think of all the zeros on that vanilla purchase once a year for Benthic and Cuppa. So that's a lot.
Right.
It's a lot of vanilla.
I know, but that's when you need that buying power, like
Yeah,
you said.
exactly.
There's a break. There's a break.
Get those good beans,
Yeah, you get the good
bulk
stuff.
beans.
Yeah,
Right.
it makes sense. I thought about it a lot, and then again, as somebody who's done the co-packing thing, as somebody who's been involved in the merger of certain things like this, maybe not exactly like this, but who's dealt with the idea of relinquishing a little bit of your brand control for something else. I think that there's a lot of benefit here for both of them. And I don't see Half Acre like inserting themselves in anything that the physical location in Logan is on Maplewood is. Let that place thrive and be what it is, and give them their control. Well, I don't want to say give them their control, because I don't think that this is a merger of control. I think it's buying power, and I think it's stuff like that. So let the places be what they are, and just kind of So it makes sense after some thinking.
You're rolling your eyes, man.
Well, yeah, I rolled my eyes, not because I didn't believe what Jacob was saying. It was more of like man, but I could see that becoming sticky. Like last week, I was kind of saying that to me it looked like, with the brewers being Half Acre brewers and the CEO being a Half Acre CEO, it looked like probably that it was, time would tell, but eventually it would just kind of be Half Acre's people just making both beers. And I don't necessarily think that kind of rolls all the way up because you still do have sets of owners. So, like, is it like 50-50? Like, they both now own half of each other's company? I mean, talk about, like, Mike, you said you were surprised at, like, how someone's so protective of their brand image and stuff like that. I mean, imagine someone just coming in and just you giving them half of your company, and that goes both ways. So that's the one that I just can't.
Yeah.
That's why I was like kind of rolling my eyes
Yeah.
because I was like,
Well,
how does that work?
The optics have to look that way. But we're not privy to the inside
No.
model of it.
Right.
But yeah, the optics are this is all kumbaya, and we're all.
Well, what did you just say? You just spoke to the fact that Half Acre brewers would be brewing the beer.
Right.
I don't know
Well-
this to be exactly true, but this comes from one of the owners' mouths of Maplewood. Recently, less than 5% of all the beer they brew is brewed by them
Right.
currently.
Right.
So how is that any different than it being brewed and it distilled? You got skilled brewers on world-class equipment doing the same exact recipe at Half Acre. I would have zero worry that beer is going to be any different. Son of Juice, Charlatan, Juice Pants, whatever you're making, same beer.
Sure.
No question.
Right, right. Well, I guess what I'm saying is, so Adam oversaw at Maplewood, I believe, oversaw brewing operations for that brewery for Maplewood, and
He could still oversee
guess he
like the
could.
Maplewood brands. I mean, I think the thing that Eric said about it, them forming a new third entity that's basically like the co-packer, and them both having equity in that while retaining their brands is probably the most likely and smartest
It's cleanest.
thing that they're going.
Also,
about
hold up.
too.
They both have THC brands. Just kind of throwing that out in the.
Well, for how much
universe.
longer?
We don't know.
Yeah,
right,
Till at
right.
least
That's a different conversation,
till at least
but-
November 12th.
Yeah.
right, sure. But that would make it so that, like, it's the same. It's probably a way for Maplewood to have leverage the fact that they're brewing a ton of beer,
And are growing,
and are growing,
which is huge.
in a way that reduces their contracting costs, right?
Of course, yeah,
So,
yeah.
like, of course, makes sense for them, and then Half Acre adding some production capacity, keeping the wheels turning, keeping things moving.
Yeah. No,
Obviously
I
making
I
some
think,
money off of it too.
Right. I mean, the
Like,
yin
I
and
don't
yang
think
of
this
it
is
seems
like-
to make sense.
I don't
yeah.
think this is like when, I don't know, another, like, it doesn't seem like we bought this brand. They're not positioning it that way, even though I was very skeptical of that when we were texting about it, where I'm like, well, the CEO is the CEO. It
Right.
sounds like an acquisition.
Right.
But,
Well, right. That's
They-
what I was
they
saying. Like,
haven't
I've
said
kind
what
of
the-
come
what
to
is this-
change my tune a little bit as well. But it's, yeah, I'm just trying to, I'm curious if there was a third company. So then it's like we both own equity in that. And then we kind of own our brands. And we, for money or not, I don't know, like lease our,
We bill it back, 100%.
and the brand rights to this other company as well.
Correct.
So then it's still
no,
one-
not brand rates. No, it's just you sell the beer back to yourself. You pay a fee to this company per barrel to then buy it back.
the only thing
Which-
Yeah,
about
but then
this
they
that-
also
that-
do your
that's-
HR for you and your
Correct.
payroll.
All the things. It's a suite of corporate structure.
Yeah.
Simply is it's not sexy. It's not elegant. It's just functionally very sound.
I wonder what
Clean.
went on in these, like, their conversation, because it would make so much more sense to me as Half Acre just to be like, yeah, we have tank space, you can use it, than to be like, let's make a whole new third entity that we don't control completely, because, like,
Yeah, but you
But-
got separate contracts then. Like you're buying stuff individually. You can talk to people together, but ultimately there's going to be a different contract. You buy it together, better value.
Yeah.
I do think
I
that.
guess, but
Sorry.
No, I was just going to say. Then you can weave in the other things. You can weave in the art histories and be like, yeah, now you can buy our malt, but it's cost plus 15%, and you're still going to get a much better deal than if you're buying it yourself. Same with hops, same with yeast, all the services that come with it.
Yeah.
From a production standpoint, which is brewing, cellaring, quality, all that stuff. I feel like that's
I'll put out another potential out, or maybe just like a what if. you know, because it could be a lot of stuff. It could also be that, you know, Half Acre is doing well, but they are not growing at the moment right now. Maplewood is. They've not been in it as long as Half Acre has. Their investors haven't been in it as long as Half Acres have. And maybe, you know, some people are looking to take an off-ramp and get out and don't really want to put in more money. And again, I cannot tell you how steaming these piles are right now. But, you know, then you have someone like Maplewood who is, you know, they're growing and younger, and maybe they want that kind of challenge, and neither of them have the money to acquire the other. But maybe it could be like, hey, come in. We have the people. We have the CEO. We have the system.
Yeah.
We have the people. Come in, and then we can kind of sunset, and we can ride off, like our investors can go, and then maybe some of us can as well. I mean, it's plausible, I think, that it could be that, where I had kind of thought of it almost 180 degrees initially, but that it was Half Acre, but they just didn't have maybe the coin to acquire. But then again, like kind of like you were saying, like why would they just? That's the thing I can't square. That is, why would someone just give up half of their company? I guess you're also gaining half of another company, but
Well, it's probably not.
you're getting into bed with
50-50
people.
thing.
You're getting into bed with people.
You almost
though.
want to feel like there's like this impending doom that you must avoid, or like maybe this is like your last, like your an opportunity to. But I don't think it was as grim as that. But yeah, you want to feel something that like why.
Right.
Yeah, I just don't know it.
I bet,
It's a big move.
I bet this was a cashless transaction, and
Yeah.
nobody owns 50% of anything.
So, something tells me it was a cashless.
It's an
and
investment into a new thing
Yeah.
where nobody had to put any money in.
Yeah.
It's an investment into the collaborative value that it's going to be moving forward. There's no cash in this. I would
Yeah.
bet
Yeah.
10 grand right now that I don't have,
Right.
because I just started a brewery a year ago, that this is not a cash
Yeah.
transaction.
Yeah.
I don't see anybody like having the money to buy one another out or like
Right.
exit an investor. Maybe, but I doubt it.
But when you look at, so you know, like, and we co-pack for a long time. So when you look at like, okay, Half Acre, they have a large brewing staff, they have administrative staff. I mean, they probably employ
Yeah.
80 to 120 people. I don't know. 120 is probably a stretch. Maybe let's say 75, 80 in terms of every position. And that encompasses maintenance, janitorial, blah, 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 blah. When you look at a company like Maplewood that was doing a lot of co-packing, I can assure you that like they probably didn't have a robust sales team. I think that like the amount of people that
They do have a pretty robust sales team, actually. That's by far their most employees.
yeah, but like,
It's not big.
well, robust is what, 4 people?
No, they have like 10.
Yeah,
a dozen.
They've
maybe.
put people in most outer markets, which is
For
kind of
sure.
unheard of for, a smaller brewery.
Well,
from a regional standpoint.
Yeah, I mean, maybe there's a benefit there because I know that maybe Half Acre doesn't necessarily have as much of a robust sales team internationally that they used to. So I don't know. There's a lot of speculation, but I just think that like in the grand scheme of things, there's I don't know if Maplewood, if there's a lot of like, if it's going to change their day-to-day immensely, It's not an acquisition. It's, to your point, it's a cashless merger. It's like a shared resources. I think that there's things that Maplewood can offer that Half Acre doesn't have. I think that there's, from an administrative things of just like from accounting to market to social marketing or social media to
Salesforce and other markets.
Salesforce and other
you
markets.
go to
Yeah,
St.
like
You don't
Louis.
have to have the same wholesaler to have a single sales rep.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
People manage multiple wholesalers across multiple markets all the time.
Yeah. So,
that's not crazy.
it makes sense to
Yeah.
me. I don't know. I'm like just like the hernia. Wait and see.
Way to bring
Right.
it full circle, dude.
Right.
I see what you did there. You teed this up from the
Let's
beginning.
check in every 6 months. You know.
Right. I mean, I don't think you're going to see a lot in 6, but 6
Yeah.
months you might see some things, but
I was kind of shocked at the beginning because we're in the middle of all this like of really shaking Chicago news, but I thought about it for a couple of days and I'm like, okay, cool. Like I feel like this makes sense, and there have been crazier things that have happened, so let's just kind of wait and see.
I think also if this new entity is what is assigned all the barrelage, it's the biggest brewery in Chicago, like biggest independent brewery in Chicago.
I still think Rev would be bigger.
I don't think so.
Well, wait. So
It'd be very close if not.
you said that
Maplewood makes a lot of beer.
Eric, you said that you had heard that the production at the Logan for Maplewood, the production that was happening at the Maplewood facility was 5% of their
Total beer.
total beer. Yeah, so that
What's their total volume?
I mean,
I
yeah,
don't know that.
everything kind of rumors and stuff, but I was always somewhere around the ballpark of 15,000 barrels a year of Son
For
of Juice.
Maplewood?
Yeah.
They're closer
yeah.
to 20.
20 at Distill, so that's
not a small
some
number,
beer,
man.
No, that's not
That's
a
why I
small
feel like
one.
that makes
that's like the
perfect
third
sense.
biggest
Yeah.
brewery, the fourth biggest brewery in the city of Chicago alone, if that all counts for the city
Yeah.
of Chicago.
so.
I had seen Rev at around low 60s, and these two together would be around low 50s, but who knows?
Huh. I think it's going to be higher.
Okay. I don't know.
Do we
What
think
the
Half
hell do
Acre
I
only
know?
makes like 30K?
Yeah.
Really?
I think so.
Huh. I thought they were higher.
Yeah. I think maybe they were, but
I think they were too.
yeah. So, anyway, I guess we'll see.
But I like it.
I think it's going to be good for both of them. I said that last week, and
Agreed.
I still
Yeah.
think that.
Yeah.
I still think it's going to be good for
So
for both.
when I need to buy like 2 layers of black cans, black 16-ounce cans, I know where I can get them.
Yeah.
We're all the small breweries can get all the breadcrumbs from this.
Please,
That's nice.
sir. I'd like some more sauce.
Yeah, some sauce. We need some lids,
Yeah.
whatever.
I did just buy Saphir from them, actually.
Yeah.
So,
Great.
Mike, do you think that in 5 years you're still dealing with kind of like two groups of people, depending on which?
I have no
brewery
idea.
that
I have
is?
no idea. I think the thing that will indicate that the most is us scrounging around, asking our friends, and then also like what happens with distribution. If they stay at their current distributors, obviously they're two separate entities, and if they combine into one, then they become the Borg.
The board.
They've been assimilated.
Right.
What do you think?
I think it's a lot of cash for a distributor to shell out to acquire 20 or 30, depending on which way it goes.
Right, and the value in this is not that they can like make a ton more Son of Juice. It's that they can make more money making incrementally more Son of Juice now, right?
Sure. I think they are growing, though.
Yeah, for sure.
And maybe Reyes would be able to, thinks that they could put him in more places than Glun's, and maybe they think that Son of Juice kind of hits a sweet spot in their existing portfolio that they could really use if they even care. And
It's a lot of money.
But
I
it's a
know
lot of money.
Reyes has it, but it's a lot of money.
I don't know where
But they have it
else-
because they don't just spend it, I guess.
Right.
I don't know where else Maplewood could go in Chicago because they are everywhere. Like how much more saturation can you get of Maplewood in Chicago? Because they're in every retailer. They're in a lot of bars. Like
Yeah.
Chicago is.
Are they in
is it
every
the-
like 7-Eleven even? Is Maplewood in like 7-Elevens? Because Reyes could get you in there.
Well, yeah, if you get a 19.2 in there, maybe.
Yeah. So there's that, but I don't know. Chicago's not the end all be all.
Sure. Right.
There's definitely like you hit your ceiling in Chicago after a while.
Right.
So.
But yeah, I mean, I think if that happens, that'd be very interesting to see. I mean, Glun's has certainly done it multiple times in the past 10 years where they've had big brands kind of bought from them for lots and lots and lots of money. So
They did a ton like 10 years ago, but they haven't done a lot since then, right? They kind of decimated themselves in the craft beer world.
yeah. Well, they sold high, which was good for them.
Maybe. I mean, or not. Like,
For Glenn's.
yeah. I mean,
Well, it was good for, I don't know, like.
Three Floyds just wasn't
Yeah,
there as
maybe
Three
not.
Glens
Yeah, that's true.
12 years ago.
That's true. But Dogfish
Revolution, to like the biggest ones, they
that's
let
true.
get away.
Yeah.
Well, Dogfish had, at this point is hindsight, but
Great Lakes.
not a huge loss now.
Yeah.
How dare you?
I'm just talking numbers, baby.
Yeah.
When's the last time you saw 90 minutes somewhere around here?
Right. I think we probably have it on the shelf right now. But yeah, no, you're right. You're definitely right that Rev and Three Floyds were both
I mean, Three Floyds became a rocket ship.
right. Yeah. So I guess we'll see if they think there's growth there. Time will tell. Someone talked about layers of cans. That would have been a good segue if we had talked about it right then. Should we move on to that topic? Are you ready, Mike?
Sure.
All right. Why don't you kick it off for us?
There was an article in Brewbound about how cans. The title is hilarious because it's like cans. Part of it is that share of growth is slowing, but it's because it's at 78% of being defined craft. And then when you actually read the article, it's like, and that's up. It's still going up. Like, and then there's just some guy as the Brewers Association be like, it can't go higher, right? Like their economist is like, nah, it's got to slow down. And it's like, well, it hasn't, but I guess technically it is slowing down as you reach the limit of, it's never going to be 100% unless all the glass gets like Twilight Zoned off of the earth.
Right.
But like, yeah, it's just been.
But for us in our shop right now, for domestic craft, bottles,
domestic BA defined craft. It's
a lot higher than 78.
78, yeah. Well, it's interesting. Like one of the parts of this that I found interesting is it has a list of the highest percentage by state, which is something I've never thought about of like which states have the highest percentage of canned beer.
And
Rhode Island is
92%
of the craft beer made in Rhode Island is
made in or sold in.
Made in, I would imagine. Large share of canned volume tracked off-premise retailers. Sold in.
Yeah.
By BA defined craft.
Probably because it's all those New England hazy boys.
Yeah, because like Vermont's on there, but then it's Montana. But then but the interesting, like Montana's in the top 3.
Is Montucky in
but
there?
Nebraska,
The state of
South
Montucky.
Dakota are both in the bottom 5. So who knows why any of this is the way it is. Montucky is not. Is that BA defined craft? Utah's up there. Mississippi is lagging. 56% in Mississippi. They're sticking to bottles. But I don't know how much BA defined craft beer they're buying in Mississippi in the first place.
Right. Maybe a Beta.
And then Boulevard.
I think a Beta is still in bottles.
Hold on,
I think.
Is that Mississippi? That's Louisiana. though,
Louisiana,
right?
but
Yeah,
it's close.
Sure. That's got to be. It's got to be it.
Let's just say
maybe
it
they
is.
don't even know that there are cans
It's
yet.
another steaming pile. It's a Beta. That's why Mississippi's high. Okay. Next. No.
But I mean, you guys are Blind Corn. You guys are 100% cans, right?
Yes, we are.
Jacob, you guys do some 500 mils and some clear bottles,
we got
750s.
some 500 mils, 750s. I'm ready.
500.
I'm ready for glass.
500 gang. Let's go.
I actually, I'm for long necks. Like for on-prem retail, I
would love your beer
I'm ready.
long neck, man.
I'm
Let's
ready
go.
for fucking. Sorry, I'm ready for 12 ounces. And we've thought a lot about it, and
Yeah.
I just need to, pull the trigger on it.
yeah. I mean, part of this.
But they're not that cheap anymore. It's like
Right.
it's not easy.
And they're a pain in the ass in a lot of ways.
They're heavy.
They're a pain in the ass
Yeah.
for the consumer. They're a pain in the ass for the
Yeah, they're not
for the retailer. That said, they are
on-site.
better. They are better, like for no necessarily quantifiable reasons. To me personally, like we said it on the show before. Like if I'm going in my backyard to hang out and just like grill and have some beers. And there's a 6-pack of cans of Sierra Nevada. I'm trying to think of a beer that comes in both. And a 6-pack bottles of Sierra Nevada in my fridge.
What about Trimmer?
Not Trimmer.
Yeah, not Trimmer.
But if it was brown bottles.
Cans of Trimmer, yeah.
Right. Cans of Trimmer. I'd rather have a brown bottle of Trimmer, but I would grab a bottle of Sierra Nevada or Allagash White.
Sure.
Just because, I don't know. But then again, as a retailer, cans are lighter. They stack easier. They don't smash and shatter. So I understand why cans are just, it's like the easier path, even though like the more romantic path is the
cheaper
bottle.
too.
For on-prem,
Per unit.
And lighter.
I mean, that's
better in many ways.
our bulk of retail, since we don't distribute, is on-prem, and so the gloves are kind of off. Like we don't have to worry about a lot of those things, but certain decisions are weighted, But we've talked a lot about glass just for fun, and we just don't have the courage to pull the trigger. But we want to, It's like, hey, is anyone joining or like?
I think a domestic.
First,
anyone else?
gotta be the
Is anyone's going to do it
first?
first?
One in the
Or?
pool, dude. Gotta be the first one in the pool. Make it cool.
Something we've said. I think we are ripe for
totally.
a domestic, especially like a gold foiled long neck or something, or like a
Jacob.
Yeah.
that would go so well.
I mean, sure,
People,
but then
couldn't
also
you see that just like
Tom's going to
like
do
the
it
Rock
for us
House.
at
But we're in the
Goldfinger.
world where
Yes.
but we're in a world where all margins getting sliced at every interaction and every point of purchasing anything. Diesel is over $5 a gallon in Chicago, and that who pays for that? Well, the consumer ultimately. But but us for a while, everything has a fuel surcharge on it. So you think that you're going to ship heavier glass bottles, then also add a step of adding foil to it to all these breweries that only have canning lines? Like it's just. The logistics of it for the vast majority of breweries, maybe not the vast majority of volume of beer made in in the country that's BA defined craft, is that they just don't have the ability to bottle anything.
12 ounce.
And there isn't a big. There isn't-
12 ounce amber bottles are 3 times the cost of cans.
Yeah. They're
just
glass
insane.
isn't cheap. And
Yeah, used to be
and
the other way around.
I mean, obviously, the glass that we're using is different and more expensive and higher. Like it's thicker and all that
Yeah.
shit. But it's made in Wisconsin. It's not like it's getting imported, and it's still expensive and getting more expensive all the time.
Right.
So like, if you want to pay $18 for the same 6-pack you could pay $12 for, then by all means.
I would say people
You should
do
bring-
it
why
with
don't you-
Modelo.
But BYOGF, dude, bring your own gold foil. You can turn anything you want into the thing you want.
But then it's all the sexiness is lost if I do it myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, but it just I know it sounds great and it all feels nostalgic to us, but the reality is that
Right.
like it's just not going to
Yeah,
happen.
no, we all want it, and then we look at the price tags and we're like, oh,
Right. I mean, we're already at
let's just keep doing what we're doing.
Right.
We'll reassess
It'll
in
happen
6
eventually,
months.
I think. Someone will
yeah,
do
but
it.
I mean, we're going to go from 78 to 75.
Oh, I'm not saying that we're going to go to 50-50.
The entity that's going to take up this space is Tilray or ABI. It's not going to be BA defined craft because they don't have the ability to do it.
Sure.
And they don't have the ability to buy it in enough bulk to be able to be like, all right, if we make 8 pennies on this, it works out.
Well, they could just charge more for it, and if it's a premium product, and maybe it'll work.
Things are so expensive, and people have less buying power
Yeah.
than like in the last 10 years. But I also want it to happen. I'm just a negative Nancy.
I go to Texas all the time. My family's in Texas, and I do remember I was having this conversation with Chris as I was reading the brief for today, my brewery, and I was like, Texas, Central Texas, I remember 6 years ago, everything was in bottles. It was Lone Star bottles, it was Miller Lite bottles, it was Tecate bottles, it was Shiner Bock bottles, and those are the high volume moving beers. And then all of a sudden, it's like finding a bottle in Texas is kind of hard, and it like blows my mind. I felt like if there was anyone that was gonna like hold on to the bottles, it would be Texas, and they're clearly not, according to And I was like, yeah, people have changed, but I still like the bottle.
Yeah,
Right.
It's great. It's a great
High life.
vessel.
We'll only drink High Life out of a bottle.
Yeah, out of a bottle.
There's no High Life can.
PBR
it
cans,
exists,
though.
but we don't want it. You know.
Chris, you mentioned earlier if you had the choice, can of Allagash White, bottle of Allagash White, bottle 10 out of 10, right? 10 out of 10 times.
You're
I
le-
mean,
you're leading him.
No, not
Flavoring you, bro, but like still, that's just like a no-brainer.
Right. Yeah. For in my backyard.
Yes.
Now, if I'm camping or something,
Fair
which
enough.
I don't do.
I'm sure you do that
So that's
a lot.
you know that.
We've camped.
If I did,
We've slept in a yurt together.
That's right. Oh, that's right. Does that count?
We camped.
Okay. That's
Absolutely
camp.
we
Then I
did.
do camp. I camp. Yeah, 10 out of 10. I would say.
Yeah.
But and I think because of that, that means somebody can make a market for it if they can do it with the right product.
Jacob.
Right.
Cruz.
Can I bring up a couple other just like very fun, interesting facts that were just like bullet pointed
Yeah.
in this article?
Yeah.
Well, the 12 packs make up 1/3 of BA craft volume, which is crazy. But then my favorite personal parts were the 24 packs, which make up 2% of overall craft beer volume, 40% of which is split between 2 breweries, and the number 1 style of beer in BA defined craft sold in 24 packs is Saison/Farmhouse Ale.
What?
Oh, it's
Because of Spotted Cow.
Oh, Spotted
Cow.
Nuclearis. Got it.
I was like, this is the funniest thing in the world.
They still sell a lot of bottles.
Yeah, it's a
New Glarus still does.
like the
There are-
creamiest
yeah.
ale of Farmhouse Ale.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Are
what would
they-
you rather have, a Spotted Cow out of a bottle
I think
or a
that's
can?
I think that's a
bottle, a bottle for
That's
sure.
a marketing. That's a.
It works so great
it's a-
for everyone
yeah,
else to
it's
call
a
it Saison/Farmhouse
misbranding
Ale.
thing, but-
Well, it's also like that's not a Saison
That thing
slash
was a
Farmhouse
saison
Ale.
It was a saison a long time ago.
Isn't it cream ale?
Not as
It's
we know it
100%
anymore.
cream
I
ale.
think they've now changed it again, and now I think they're calling
It's
it
just Spotted Cow.
I think they're calling it a farmhouse ale now.
Yeah.
yeah,
it is
they've
Farmhouse
always
Ale.
called it Farmhouse Ale.
Yeah.
Like the branding of it is Farmhouse Ale. It has nothing in common
With an actual.
an actual farmhouse ale, but whatever. I'll take.
Well,
the,
yeah,
I'll
it's like
take the dub
what do
for
they
the
say? It's
category.
like when you're. It's like in China they just call Chinese food food. When you're in Wisconsin, you just call your farmhouse beer.
Yeah. Yeah.
You call it Spotted Cow.
we just call it Spotted Cow. It's not farmhouse ale.
I mean, one of like the beers people keep asking us to make again, which we probably won't, was us making fun of it and called it Faux Cow, and it was just like, what if it actually was a saison and it had like white corn in it from Caleb and
Well, it's
and then it had
okay.
Brettanomyces and it was sour and funky and people were like, that's great. I'm like, yeah. What if that was in 24? What if that was the number 1 selling 24 pack in BA craft?
Well, it used to say
it
that
would
there
be
was, like-
$1,000 a 4-pack.
Didn't it say there was like a kiss of
Oh, a
like
24 pack.
of like Wisconsin corn or something in it, and they're like, oh,
Yeah,
it's
but
a cream ale. It's not anymore. They don't have corn in it anymore.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So they changed the
Corn too
recipe?
expensive.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, I'd heard that, and I remember it having corn in it, right? Just like
Yes.
it used to, yeah, it doesn't anymore. It says
Are you
spotted. This is from NewGlarusBrewing.com. Year-round beer, Spotted Cow. Every drop of Wisconsin's original farmhouse ale is artisan brewed and bottled by the hardworking employees of New Glarus,
Slash
right
canned.
here in New
Bottled slash
Glarus.
canned.
Spotted Cow adheres to the Reinheitsgebot but purity law,
Oh.
using only 4 hand-selected all-natural ingredients: yeast, hops, water, and malted barley.
Huh.
So,
Are we?
Do the employees live on farms? So that makes
and
it a farm.
we're not.
I don't know that. I don't. Now I'm not questioning myself.
I'm almost certain it did.
What do we know?
I
Did
thought
it use
it-
corn?
It was probably
Maybe
like,
it did.
yeah, it's got corn.
Corn is corn in the room.
Now I don't know.
You guys smell that? Yeah, the corn. Perfect. All right, just add the barley.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I'm trying to remember. Yeah, whatever. I'm sure we could look it up, but it might take a moment to do. Okay. Do we want to move on? We have some letters, one of which pertains
Do you want to take a break?
to. We can take a break. Take a break. Want to take a break, refill
Come back for
our
letters.
glasses, and come back for letters. We'll be back in a few minutes.
So,
And we're back. Beer Temple Podcast. I'm your co-host, Chris Quinn. I'm joined by your other co-host, Mike Shalau. And we are both joined by our guests, Jacob Sembrano and Eric Hobbs. And I think it's time that we get into letters, but we have a fun one. We have, first of all, I just want to say, Mike, we were kind of in a bit of a drought of letters. We are now
In a
inundated.
flood, dude.
We are inundated with letters. So thank you guys so much.
This one is citing the
I also feel like there was
ILCC liquor.
never
like
a-
a fuck-
Yeah,
I
well,
also
let's
feel like
talk.
there's-
Let's read
Holy
it. Let's
shit.
read it. Let's read it. So this was an e-letter, electronic letter, email. I think some people call it. And the subject was Constellation Brands' relationship with Half Acre, and it goes on to say, "Hi. Wondering if you're aware or have any insights into the relationship between Constellation Brands and Half Acre. Constellation Brands, for those who may not know, is Corona, the importer of Corona and Modelo, and they're massive, massive, massive. He goes on to write, with the recent news regarding Half Acre Maplewood merger, someone at Beer Advocate claimed that Constellation quietly, quote, invested in Half Acre around a year ago. I found this odd as I never heard anything about it. Suspicious, I looked up the Illinois liquor license and found that they have a license at Half Acre's address. And then he gave me a link to that, to the ILCC portal. He says, is this a case of Constellation using existing excess brewhouse capacity and owning part of the space/equipment, or an actual ownership stake in Half Acre? Curious to anything the insiders may have to add. Thanks, Brandon. Brandon, what a great
This is
letter.
This is some sleuth
It's great.
stuff.
And thanks for reaching out, because
I
we
didn't
do
know-
have some insight into this,
I didn't know
actually.
normals knew about the ILCC portal for looking at liquor licenses.
Yeah. There is a relationship between Constellation and Half Acre. I have no idea if there's any sort of ownership. I don't.
I'm almost certain there isn't.
Yeah. I was going to say I can't say for sure, but I'm pretty sure that there isn't. But there is kind of a relationship, and I don't know what I can and can't say about it. But
Yeah.
they bought, to my understanding, a pretty nice piece of equipment that they wanted to use as Constellation did, like the Rolls Royce of breweries, but like miniaturized to like the Micro Machine
It's
size.
smaller than our brewery. This
Yeah.
is so funny.
But it's like the Rolls Royce of
Yeah.
brew houses at that size. And the idea is, I guess, they wanted to use it for some R&D purposes. And but they didn't have space for that. So they had an agreement, and it lives at Half Acre. And
So that's their pilot system?
yes,
No shit.
yes.
I learned that today.
And there's also, they have a Constellation, I believe, has a brewer on, and I don't want to get too specific about this, but I believe they have a brewer that they pay for that is the R&D brewer for that system. But when that brewer isn't brewing for Constellation on that system, they essentially can do whatever Half Acre wants them to do on that
You
system,
guys are
or
all
maybe
acting
not
like
on that
you've known
system.
this for a long time. I'm under a rock, huh? I
I
do live.
I live pretty
We can-
close.
we
We all
way
live
west.
pretty close.
For people who are on our Patreon, you can hear when we go off mic, we can talk a little
Yeah,
bit
you
more
see
about
the
it.
video where Jacob and I are just like nodding along. Yeah, come on,
yeah,
everyone
yeah.
knows this.
We could talk about it. It'll yeah. So it is kind of an interesting relationship.
Yeah.
There, and they do have a relationship. Now, someone, if they were really conspiracy minded, be like, "Oh, they already have a foot in the door to buy Maple Acres," or.
Sure.
But I wouldn't say that.
I
Only
like how your voice got really
Yeah,
deep there.
it
that was
genuinely-
Brandon. That was me channeling Brandon.
When I heard any of this, I was also very skeptical as a cynical person, but it genuinely doesn't seem like anything other than what was exactly described right there. And there's like a hilarious tiny little canning line does one can at a time. It does 6 cans a minute because it goes into like a evac chamber and all this crazy so that they can get like similar results as to what they're using their full equipment. But it's just very funny to watch it and be like, damn,
Right.
They spent more money on this thing that makes 6 cans a minute than I spent on probably my entire brewery.
but to answer Brandon's question, which again, bravo, Brandon. What
Yeah,
a great
seriously.
question. And someone on Beer Advocate, and they linked to it, claimed that Constellation quietly invested in Half Acre.
I guess that's technically
Right.
true
I
in that
guess
they
I don't
did
know
put this
how-
piece of equipment in there.
Right.
I
I don't
don't
know
f-
if that's. It's at least. It's not like a ridiculous way to put it. I don't know if that's technically
Right.
valid,
But it's not
necessarily.
Yeah, it's probably technically correct, but not the way that people use
Yeah.
invested in a colloquial sense of
I-
being like they gave them
Yeah.
cash for equity or something like that.
I don't think that any of the Half Acre employees that are privy to this knowledge want to be disclosed or anything, but it's not this like scandalous thing. It's to my understanding, and yeah, you live in Chicago, you're in the beer industry, you're friends with people, word gets around, but it's not like this hot topic. It's someone was looking to park some stuff somewhere,
Right.
figure some
Right.
shit out, and
someone had some space for
and
it.
someone had some space for it,
And some
And
infrastructure.
let's just kind of leave it at that. There's no, you can sleuth all you want. It's not like this like insight to
Nefarious,
the
yeah.
future of like so and so is going to buy so and so. I think I always interpreted that as just like, all right, cool, let's leave it alone.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And if someone was going to buy
I think it's a pretty sweet
someone
deal for
else,
Half Acre.
yeah.
I think
Constellation Brands is also headquartered here in Chicago,
Right.
So it's like, so when you think about it, you're kind of like, well, they need a place to R&D, and where's that going to be? Well,
And is Goose Island going to let them do that?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Okay, well then who are the other options?
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
Half Acre or Rev are probably next, and then okay, one of them said yes, great. Mm-hmm. You just go to who has who might
it's-
have the space
Yeah.
and who might have the infrastructure.
who has running water, electricity, and floor drains?
Right.
Done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We bought a car wash.
Right. And who? Yeah. And are they with the same distributors as a lot of the Constellation brands?
Don't even
It doesn't
know.
matter.
No,
Don't even
I
know.
I know it doesn't matter, but I'm saying like it could also be. Well, they just
Maplewood's owned by Constellation now.
right.
Yeah.
No.
Pipe rock theory.
But no, that's I'm surprised that that's coming up.
Yeah. So that was that. We have another letter in my hand.
Look at that.
It's a new format of letter.
Oh,
We've
they
got-
invented a new letter.
Well, it's
Quee.
for us, it's a new form of handwritten that we've not gotten because we've asked for different, like what's left,
Yeah.
basically. And we did get a coaster. We hadn't gotten. Someone mailed us a coaster with a
Yep.
postage stamp.
Some sober people with highly
Stamp.
legible handwriting.
Yes. Since then, we've gotten a lot, but this one
got a
has
message
a seal, like a wax seal on the envelope, which is awesome. And I'm going to read the letter.
Dearest Christopher,
Yeah.
I've longed for your hair.
You have to play like sad like violin music in the background, like in a
It's
Ken
handwritten.
Spurn.
I love it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Dear Chris and Mike. So this is not for you.
Take your headphones
Hobbs,
off. Take your headphones off.
and it's not for you.
Stop
Okay.
listening.
Dear Chris and Mike, I have recently gotten back into listening to Beer Temple content after a long hiatus. My earliest memories is watching Chris review beers
Your
on
earliest
video.
memories?
Yeah.
Jesus, your parents were terrible.
Yeah. Back in the on video back in the day. That's a long time ago. I had hair back then. And
Kinda.
finally have come back to a treasure trove of episodes to listen to. First, love the long form content. Don't listen to the haters. He likes the banter. Second,
He did not say that.
your content is a nice change of pace from my usual podcasts. For the last 6 years, I have had to focus on listening to content that was focused on knowledge areas that I needed to understand for my Cicerone journey. After passing the Master Cicerone exam this year,
Wow.
yeah, I
not
am
a lot of
able
people
to
to-
mix in content that covers industry, trends, and comings and goings of beer. And
Wait,
of
wait, wait,
course,
wait.
I love the blind tasting content.
There's no Beer Temple Insiders Roundtable section of the
Yeah.
of the Master Cicerone.
Also, like four
They've
people
quietly-
passed.
Hold
they've
on.
Four
quietly
people
invested
passed
in him.
Master Cicerone, so you're not very anonymous anymore.
Right. No, he
We're gonna
signs
find
it.
this dude.
Yeah. And he says, and of course, I love the blind tasting.
Sincerely, Pat
content.
Fahey.
One topic I would love to hear y'all's opinion of is the Cicerone program as a whole. As folks who hire employees that go, what goes through your mind when you see a Cicerone certification on a resume? Also, how do you feel about the state of beer education? Is it still important? How have you seen it done poorly and done well? And what do you wish beer education included more of? Yes. For myself, gone are the days of a presenter and PowerPoint being enough and teaching folks through hands-on and tangible experiences is a far relaxed environment is where we should be heading. Okay, in a more relaxed environment is where we should be heading. Again, thanks for the next level banter, awesome content, and I'm looking forward to the next fantasy draft episode, and hope to be a future guest on an Insiders Roundtable. Regards, Scott Fielder.
Oh yeah, Scott's got to be on.
Okay, you know Scott.
No, I'm just saying he's
Oh,
a master
okay.
Cicerone.
Yeah,
he
this is
hand
like
wrote you a letter and
Right.
sealed it with
Like
wax.
a make a wish foundation
Right.
here.
P.S. The wax seal on the envelope is a logo for a beer pop-up event concept called At Your Service. If you're ever in Southern California and can attend an event, we would love to have you two as our guests. Again, us too. Serge, you are not invited,
Sorry, Serge.
let alone our guests. Just Mike and I
Yeah.
are invited.
Oh,
So
awesome.
thank you,
paid
Scott,
your
and
dues.
congratulations, man.
Yeah, seriously.
Passing
cool.
Master Cicerones. That's rarefied air right there. So thank you very much for the letter. So the questions that Scott had, because I think we should get to them, because he spent so much time writing this and mailing it out and stamping it in wax. He would like our opinion, is how do you view, what's your opinion of the Cicerone program as a whole, as folks who hire employees? What goes through your mind when you see a Cicerone certification on a resume? And how do you feel about the state of beer education? Is it still important? And how have you seen it done well and done poorly? And what would you like to see more of? There's a lot there, but take any part of that and kick it off, Mike. What do you think?
I genuinely don't know. I know some of our employees have some level
You only know
of
some of your
Cicerone.
employees.
I genuinely don't know some of my employees. I know some of them have some levels of Cicerone training or diplomas of some kind. I don't know what they are, and I don't know off the top of my head who have them. I have guesses, but I don't actually know.
Yes.
It's not something that we look for, either hiring for production or for tap room necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't hurt, but it's not something where we're like, well, you gotta be a Cicerone, because we're doing something so specific that we're going to train you about what we're doing.
Right.
And you don't need to know, yeah, that's him. I pulled up a picture of Scott. You don't need to that's the breadth of that knowledge is not wholly necessary to do a really good job at our tap room. And we're actively trying to cultivate more of a neighborhood bar that happens to make world-class beer vibe than a sit down here and we're going to teach you a bunch about beer. We tell everyone that the educational portion of it is opt-in, where people come and if they seem like they have a lot of questions, we want you to be able to answer them to a certain level. But then they also get some people that just have questions where it's like, only I could answer a lot of the questions that people that ask my staff, and we have a lot of
Fielder to probably answer them.
I could definitely answer it, but there's a lot of also back and forth of where is the point of maximum return for staff education on some of that stuff, where they don't need to know a lot of like the names of all the yeast, the Brettanomyces strains we're using, or the origins of all of them. Like by making them learn, they're not going to retain it probably. It also then changes the vibe of what the job is, which is like going from being like a encyclopedia to be abused by home brewers, from being like a hospitalitarian. If you can do both,
Interesting word, hospitalitarian.
if you can do both, obviously that's preferable. But we've made a choice to, everyone gets a copy of, the Saison book. Everyone gets a copy of Tasting Beer. We talk about it, and then it's like anything that's like really, really specific. Like if I'm here, just come like text me, and I'll come up and answer these questions so you don't have to deal with them. Or if I'm not here, I'll try to answer the questions. And if neither of those are possible, then just be like, this person is probably not going to be satisfied
Sure.
no matter what we tell them.
Okay.
And they just want to tell me that they make better Saisons than I do at home.
No, that's fine. No, that's good. And I think that gets to, like, how do you see it for your place? But what do
Yeah.
you think about the importance of beer education overall? And this can be for anyone. I know that Scott only wrote this to us, but I,
Sure.
as one of the co-hosts, am allowing
Wow.
everyone to kind of weigh
Big
in.
liberties as the host.
Yeah. Co-host.
Co-host. Yeah. I think beer education is important. I think we've actually done quite a good job over the last 10 years of training people on very
Cicerone was a huge
specific things.
reason for that, yeah.
People know or think they know a lot about hops, and then they don't really know about anything else as an average consumer, is my observation of it, which I would rather have them know something about hops than know nothing at all. But they don't. But I don't know. You guys probably have different experiences and different consumers and different interactions with them. So what do you think?
It's hard. As someone who got their beer career started at Goose Clybourne, that hosted Siebel Institute for education courses, and that also did advanced Cicerone and advanced
I took
Cicerone
my
tests.
Cicerone exam at Goose Island.
Right. So that place was like the epicenter of beer education. And we had servers that came in off the street going to college that was surrounded by beer education. They retained through osmosis, and they didn't even have to try. That was like the epicenter and the peak of what I found to be as beer education. And now, high volume, we have a brew pub, high volume West Loop, and employing able service staff and bartenders is hard enough alone. Because we don't have that kind of neighborhood vibe and curation that, was Dovetail, Hot Butcher. It's a bit of a different vibe. Like education is really, really hard. So we have to kind of figure out like where's that middle ground in terms of quality of service, expediting service and knowledge. So I've made it like a priority to become more of like a force in that for the last 5-6 years, but it's hard. I can't say that the desire to the general desire for people to learn beer is like growing. It's so I've made it a point to really like how do you build enthusiasm in this is a show all in itself, but yeah, it's hard. But I think that the simplest way I can say it is that like if I'm enthusiastic about something, then the staff is enthusiastic about it, and it's very easy for them to share that enthusiasm.
Sure.
At least for a very short moment of time.
I think
So I leave it at that,
All right.
I think there's also something we've kind of observed from the wine world that like technical knowledge is like reigns supreme in brewing and almost doesn't exist in wine. Not that people that are making the wine don't know what they're doing, but like the way that people approach how do I get this person to
how do we
enjoy
talk
this
about it,
thing, and that like pumping people full of IBUs and
Needless.
Play-Dohs
Yeah,
is
it's
like
not
does not
right.
make it taste more delicious. So especially in making a thing like a saison, and that being the folks what we do, which already leans toward storytelling more. We prime people with the stories of our beers to share rather than being like it finishes at 0 Play-Doh
Yeah.
and then it has X, Y, and Z things in it. Like that technical stuff, like that's when I'm like, just get me. Like,
I always like the bridge. The bridge, like the bridge is always like the way I like to refer to things. Is that like, oh, you're familiar with this? If you like this, then like, this is what I suggest, or like that's the easiest way to kind of build things. This simplicity to people is
Yeah.
and minds have to be open to be filled,
Yeah.
So like if people don't want to learn,
closed mouths don't get fed.
Sure, that's exactly what I was saying. But if people don't want to learn it, forcing information on people, even if it's well intended, is going to make the beer taste worse.
Education's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Especially
it is.
Now you can defend yourself with information where people like say something about your beer, be like, actually, no, we know technically these things are true about it. But
Sure.
what do you think, Eric?
Big fan of beer education. I don't think it carries quite the weight anymore. I'm not looking for it. Speak to me in the sense of beer, you understand beer. I don't know. I mean, I'm not looking for like a certification right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
As someone who with Chris, I think I took the test with you probably right
okay.
around that same time at
Yeah.
Siebel, in the Goose Island Clybourne classroom. I thought that was amazing, but yeah, I just don't.
That was the epicenter of
Yeah,
of beer.
I just don't look for it the same way I used to.
And without that, we wouldn't be able to be here being like, it's not that important. It's
It's
because
not
the
gonna-
floor has come up so
It's
much.
not going to be a bad thing if I see it on a resume. Like, all right, great, this person's, especially if you're actually like a Cicerone, not just beer server certified. If you're a Cicerone, you've put yourself through a bit of a ringer to learn all that. So, yeah, kudos, man.
Yeah, I would say I'm kind of get through what Brandon asked. I have a slightly
No, Brandon
different
was the first letter.
approach.
is Scott.
Sorry. This is Scott Fielder.
So
Sorry.
this is Master Cicerone Scott Fielder.
Master
Show respect.
not
Thank you.
Christ.
not internet
Put some
sleuth.
respect on his name. Yeah.
If he's going through the content, he knows that I like to butcher names. Okay, so
Laros?
I do think that when we're hiring, if someone is a second level Cicerone, definitely makes things a lot easier. And I think for us, that may be more important than at a tap room
Totally.
where it's much more of a controlled environment.
Totally.
Like this, we can teach you this because it's like, what of this style do you have? What of this style do you have? I like this. We don't have any of this style, but we do have that style, which is kind of like it. So I think that is very helpful. And the fact that like the beer education doesn't seem to be as hot as a lot of things in the beer world as it was is something that I think you just have to, because you get people who are like, yeah, I know beer, and you're like,
Right.
okay, how much do you know beer? And there's it's a pretty wide swath of knowing beer and being right that you know beer, but like not knowing beer the way that we want you to know beer here. Maybe you know it in a different way, or so that I would say it's important to me. I also think like BJCP judging is a really good form of education for a place like a beer bar or a beer shop, because you get to taste and learn about styles. The formal process, which is definitely part of like the Cicerone and a lot of educational programs, isn't as important in the retail. It's a little important. Like you have to know the basics of how how you make beer. You have to know like why a wild beer is wild and why a hoppy beer is hoppy, and the difference between
Which
kettle
to be
flavor and aroma
perfectly
and
honest,
bitterness.
A lot of people like still don't quite understand some of those things. Like I was doing the Delilah's Vintage Fest last week, and afterwards I was like at the bar for a little bit, and someone who's worked in beer for probably 30 years was talking about how Britannomyces makes things sour. Ooh. And I just had to be like, I never do this, but I'd be like, it doesn't. And he was cool about it. He's like that, and his thing was like, that's what they told me in 1992 or whatever. And I've just been telling people that, so thank you for correcting me. But I was like, yeah, it shouldn't make things sour. And then you get real nerdy with it, where you're like, it can make acetic acid sometimes, but like you really shouldn't be doing that. But I was like, no, it's not. And then I was listening to another podcast with someone who's like very knowledgeable about wine, and then was talking about mouse taint and like THP in wine, and then being like, but it's fine in beer. People actually like it in beer. I'm like, no, people don't like it in beer.
Yuck.
And then he was like, it comes from two bacteria, Brettanomyces and Lactobacillus, where it's like, those are the right organisms that do that, but they're not bacteria. So, again, me saying, like, there's people that, like, work in this and still don't know those things.
Yeah.
But, like, those are more, like, as long as you're not spreading misinformation, it's okay. But, like, to me, those are more producer things, too, right? I just had to jump in. Sorry. I had
That's okay.
a beer education thing where I'm like, people that have been working in beer for 30 years still get some of the things on the fringes wrong all the time.
Sure. Those are pretty in the depths, but
Yeah,
they
the
are.
fringes, like I said.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But when it's your entire life, you're like,
the classic
can't
phrase.
let you do that.
And I'll give John Laffer the credit on this. Wild doesn't mean sour.
Right.
Wild does not mean sour.
Right.
You want to start like arguing how people feel about like tetrahydropyridine in their beers.
Nice, dude. You're a Cicerone?
It's pronounced chicharron.
Crusherone, I thought.
Cicerone. But either way, dude, like you're not debating that. Like people saying that that's acceptable in beer.
Right.
The ones who make the best versions are not. They don't. They're like, no, that's not supposed to be there.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I don't know that that's a debate, really. People
No,
want to
no.
debate that. I'm like, what? What? Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're not debates. It's just like and then that's like that. The last things I said was like, you can defend yourself with facts, where it'd be like, this is the thing that like makes it do this, and you're like, no, it doesn't. That doesn't do that. But then you also have to read the room and be like, am I about to get in an argument with someone who's going to give me $75 today, or I'm just going to let him be smarter than me for 45 minutes and
Right.
Just like whatever, dude.
As far as like what would you like to see more in beer education, I would say more, I think, tasting, knowing the flavors of beer, knowing where being able to identify or speak to what a flavor is, which is difficult and just takes a lot of practice.
Right.
And I think knowing styles is, for me, kind of important, because someone, if they ask, do you have any of this, you can then say,
Do you have any ESBs?
right. It's like, no, we don't. We have some other British styles, or I have this Scottish ale, or I have an American, amber that kind of tastes like it,
The American Pale
Oh,
Ale.
right. I have Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, the gold standard of ESBs, according to the World Beer Cup.
Most recent.
Judging's important, right?
Right.
Is it a cream ale or is it a farmhouse?
Right. Exactly.
But I think that tasting, then being able to like interpret what other people are telling you and kind of read into their inability to use the same language that us who do it every day have. Like people will use terms where you're like, again, like that's technically wrong, but I know what you're talking about, and then you don't need to correct them, but you need to be able to like steer them towards the thing that they're not quite aware of yet.
So I think it's important. I think if you're going to have, if you're going to try to have elevated conversations about anything, that needs to be coming from a place of education. So not every place needs to have Cicerone, but yeah, I wish some places, did have it.
I wish it had been more broadly adopted by wine people as like a real thing, because we work with a lot of like not super high end but relatively high end restaurants that take wine very, very seriously, and they care about the beer they're serving. That's why we're working with them, but they don't really know what is going on.
Yeah.
And there's people who are like, I've told them what is happening with our beers or whatever, and I'll just hear them say it wrong, and like
It's the baseline's not there, right?
Baseline's not there, and then there's just I don't know if it's disrespect, but it's something.
Oh, yeah,
it's a relative of disrespectful.
Have you been to the SWAF?
No,
Yeah,
I've
third
never
coast,
gone,
yeah.
but
Yeah, and
I've
it's
been there.
coming up here in a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that is such a particular like it fucks with your mind a little bit because they've got natural wine producers, and then you've got these hybrid fermentations that they're doing, and you taste some of these, and they're just like trampled by Brett and PDO, and and THP, and they're like these very dainty and elegant beers according to them, and then you give them
wines.
Wines, yes, and then you give them like a mixed culture beer, and they're like scoffing at it, and I'm like, hey, the same stuff that's in your stuff is in this stuff, and and it's it blows my mind because like I felt walking into that and tasting a lot of those wines that I had a better education and palate than most of those even producers, which is really wild.
Some of the natural stuff, like you look at it, it tastes like it's and I think it's getting better, so I got to be very careful here.
Yeah.
Like, especially a couple years ago, some of that natural wine, you would be like, you don't know. These are just crazy and wild, and you like that, but you're not sure what's happening.
Yeah,
right.
The beer industry made
It's what it tasted like.
The beer industry made those off flavors cool, and now you've got them in your wines. We've been there, done that. It's funny to kind of see the curve of natural wine, and we're like, oh, hey.
And it's kind of like I saw some correlations to the craft beer world where it was like, well, if this amount of bitterness is good, this amount of bitterness is even better, and if this amount of natural quality is good, more is even better, and you're like, yeah, like I guess so, but like I'm also not going to finish this bottle of wine. In fact, I'm gonna taste it, go, and then dump it down my drain and open up another bottle of wine.
There's also so many funny things about people that are very into wine and their understanding of Brettanomyces specifically, and then being like, it's always bad, and then being like, the most expensive wine in the world, like the most sought after wine in the world. I haven't had it, obviously, but it's like the way that you're describing the flavors of that. That's not a fruit, right? That's a fermentation character, and that sounds a lot like a leathery Brettanomyces.
There's a ton of smoke and mirrors in wine where I'm like, also, your favorite brand of wine that's a commercial laboratory grown yeast to ferment that.
Right.
That's not your beautiful vineyard that's, naturally fermented off skin. So
I have found a lot of them that are also like very open, but when you can speak with like a place from authority, with me being like, having them come in, they talk about Brettanomyces being bad, and I'm like, what was your favorite beer you had on draft? And then like, that one had Brettanomyces in it. What was your second favorite? Like, well, that one had Brettanomyces in it. Which one's your least favorite? That one didn't have Brettanomyces in it. So it's just like, you like these flavors. There's certainly bad ones, and that's like the rap it gets. But
there's obviously, I mean, I think there's a classism to beverage, and beer has always kind of been at the bottom, but it takes the bottom to know the bottom, right?
Right.
So,
right.
So when we taste things in other beverages, and we're like, oh, I know what that is. Trust me.
Yeah.
I don't think you do because you haven't been there yet.
Yeah.
Well, thanks to Scott.
Thank you, Scott.
Just very, very briefly, there's just one that I've been meaning to get to. It was from the last handwritten that we didn't get to the whole meat of it, and there was a part that I eventually wanted to get to, and we have to move on from that letter. And it was a handwritten letter, and I always we read the handwritten letters, but there was a sub question in it, and I don't remember who exactly wrote it, but they asked, are beer nerds good for beer? And I was like, oh, that's an interesting question. Are beer nerds good for beer? What do you think, Mike?
I mean, yeah, absolutely. They're going to come and spend the most money. And at the end of the day, that's what you need people to come and spend
for
money.
You at a fancy pants brewery.
I mean, it also depends on the genre, though. Like, the Midwest genre of beer nerd is very different than the New York genre of beer nerd, in my experience. I don't know beer nerds everywhere, but I remember being at a brewery in New York that doesn't
What year? This is important.
2016, 2017,
so
2018.
10 years ago.
Probably 10 years ago. I mean, I haven't worked. I haven't done anything in New York in a while. Going up and then like them just not having any interest in anything other than the new haze that they were putting out that day. Because like we were there selling Pipeworks beers. Where I'm like, this is rare. You can't even get this here. This is only available here. And they're like, and got mad at me. And I was like, because I was like kind of fucking around with them a little bit, and they did not appreciate that. And then they only wanted the thickest, haziest thing.
Like when I went to
Like,
Dark Lord Day and to the rare beer tasting, I brought 100% Burton Union bitter that had been drawn off it unblended, and they're like, I said, I guarantee you, I have the rarest beer here.
Oh,
Nobody liked
those
that.
are different. Those are different kinds of nerds.
right,
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, there's
no, and I knew that too, and I did it on purpose.
Yeah, it's
I
like
saw-
a challenge, you know.
a post from this guy Zach Cross, who owns a brewery called Marlowe Artisanal Ales. I don't remember exactly what their tag is to it, but talking about how like it's tough, like how he's upset that Untapped matters, and it's tough for them to get like in the number of ratings they want on Untapped and the scores they want. And then he's like this, but then a new home brewer is only making 5 gallons is the hottest brewery on Untapped. And I realized I was like, I don't know, I don't understand this world. Like I'm just not part of most of the like that type of beer nerd world.
I think that's the type of beer geek that is kind of the important one now, because the ones who are like, you know, the Chicago Beer Society style beer geek is they like the Venn diagram doesn't overlap at all. Like if they like it, that's great. If they don't, the people that brewery is trying to attract most likely don't need or like don't, not that they don't want, but they don't need those type of people. But with Untapped, it's a different, that flavor, as to kind of borrow, I think what you were saying, Jacob, is a little different. So
Totally.
yeah, because you're gonna have people being like, oh, this beer's only 3.5 bottle caps. That's must be the best wit beer in the world.
right.
Must be Allagash White.
Yeah. Well, and I had another conversation with Adrian from Hot Butcher where he was very adamantly like kind of like distressed and annoyed and upset with people who like just give them shittier ratings because they're been around for longer, and like even the new beers don't feel as new to them. And my response was like, well, who gives a shit? Just stop caring about what they think.
Yeah.
And he was like, that's not what our brewery does. And I realized like I'm so far outside of the realm of most of these things that like I haven't even logged into Untapped in a long time. I don't even know what our password is. So like, and I did have a retailer ask me, can you like update this on Untapped? And I was like, I can't. I don't know how. I don't know how to do it.
So you don't add your beers there?
No, if they're on there, it's because someone else added them.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
That's not typical.
Yeah, I don't think we probably shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah.
And it's probably me like self-sabotaging a little bit, but like I don't know, we're just not that brewery.
Yeah, putting out your information about the beer when someone looks it up is, I find, useful.
I'm
But
sure it's the right
It
thing
is
to be doing,
super useful.
but
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
just
It's a good tool for education or knowledge. And
yeah.
like the nerds stopped paying our bills a long time ago.
yeah.
And it's kind of funny. It's like, you know, our luchador program is, everybody wants it and it's really popular, but it doesn't pay the bills, you know.
Right.
And our everyday service, our $5 Mexico callings from, from 3 to 6 p.m. Pays the bills, that
Sure.
we have on a discount.
Right,
So
right.
it's pretty wild. It's like, for Hot Butcher, and I live right down the street and I go there really frequently. Like that is that is like the mecca of hoppy beer and that's their jam, but like for us it's like we want volume and affordable beer, and that's what keeps our lights on. And something that is sometimes the highly coveted beers is all fun and great, but that doesn't keep the lights on. It's a great creative outlet for us, but no, it doesn't. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Different strokes.
Eric, as a brewery in your first year, how have you seen beer geeks either, help your brand or give you guys headaches or just not engage with them? Like, what do you guys do?
No, we actually, I'll post everything that we have. New beers go on. I put it on. I kind of watch what people do and say. Not enough to where it's going to drive me crazy, but at the same time, I kind of want to see. I was like, hey man, if we kind of level off at a, 4-bottle cap brewery, I feel like we're
That's
decent
good,
brewery.
dude.
4-bottle cap
That's
is
a good
good,
brewery.
dude.
And
I had a phone
we're
call
like,
at the
and I think
brewery.
we're like 395 or something.
That's good.
I don't
Great.
know. But we do a lot of like. I knew we were going to venture in the world of the crazies, and it was going to be IPAs and double IPAs, which is what JP likes to make and we like to drink. So we knew that we were also setting ourselves up for a world of hurt if we didn't deliver on the things that we, knew we were going to expect. I mean, those guys are those nerds that rate IPAs are the toughest ones. So, it's been fine. I think we've been happy with how well things have been received, but we're also like, we control a lot of our own destiny by putting it into places where maybe the nerds aren't as influential, meaning the retail partnerships we have, the self-distro we've been able to manage hasn't necessarily been as affected. So, I don't know. It's not been bad for us. It's not been great for us. We're not winning all these awards, but at the same time, it's untapped, man. I'm kind of like with you. It's like, I hope my business model doesn't rely on untapped making me successful.
It's sure.
That's kind of where I'm at.
I wish Doug Valicki was here because I'm curious.
Tell us how stupid I am.
No, what I'm curious, what the number of people who use Untapped, who look up scores versus who score.
Sure.
That would be interesting to know because, to use your kind of different bands on a bullseye. The closer one might be the one who's actually rating it, but then the other person might be making a buying decision based on
I feel
that
like you
other
guys
one.
should have Doug on. When there's a sporting event happening, there's always the ref that's accessible by the booth. I need a data point. Doug, you there?
Right.
Doug, can I get a data point?
Right.
You need to have Doug on speed
Doug's
out
just
all the time.
Right.
Doug's just at the bar, the man on the
No, he could be at home.
on the field.
He could be at home just chilling, playing video
Sure.
games, passing the football with his kid.
Yeah.
But if you tag him in, all of a sudden he just gets a red
Right.
light. And be like, all right, yep, I'm here. What was the question?
Right.
Hey, let me get a data point for you.
Yes, you are an idiot. Okay, the ruling's been confirmed.
Exactly.
Ruling on the field stands.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, for instance, so Untapped just released all their, all the data analysis and stuff like that. And, for Illinois, the number one Mexican lager in Illinois was Cruz Blanca, but it was a tequila barrel-aged lime lager.
Yeah.
So take that for what you will.
It is delicious, right?
Yeah, it's delicious, but is that a Mexican lager? And then a couple of years ago, the number one cream ale, or excuse me,
Spotted
the number
cow.
one, the number one blonde ale in Illinois was a rum barrel aged blonde ale with coconut and which was one of our beers too. And I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Right, and that's one of those things where it's
I love blonde ales. Well, then you'll like the best
yeah,
one.
well then you'll like a
This is
rum
gross.
barrel aged. Well then you'll love a 13%
Right.
rum barrel aged version with coconut. Yeah, sounds pretty natural.
Actually, I think that sounds like a Pipeworks beer that I made. It's my bad, dude.
So yeah, the Untapped thing is don't.
Yeah.
If you're putting your heart and soul into that, then you need therapy.
And and those awards specifically are hilarious to look at.
Yeah, super
and,
funny.
And be like, wait, what? We made the best. We made the best beer to guard in Illinois this year.
Awesome.
Because no one made one.
Yeah.
And we have another beer to guard that has higher ratings. And so I'm like, what? We make
who put that in what category?
We make it too. It's we have two amber beer to guards. One's rated higher, but that one didn't even get third place. I don't know what the metrics are for this.
So I think to sum it up for me, do beer geeks, are they good or bad? They can be both. I think they're relatively harmless, more harmless than they were maybe even 5 years ago. But I do think there are little pockets of hardcore geeks that are still probably pretty meaningful to little pockets, let's say Goose and Lambic. Those styles, I think legitimately, at least the import that we get, I think that the beer geeks really do kind of matter for the health of that segment to some degree.
And I think it's like anything where it's people within.
And I want those styles to stay.
Yes. Yeah, me
Yeah.
too. Like we were talking about, there's different kinds of beer geeks now, right? But it's your attitude within it, right? And if you're only into hazy IPAs, but you're positive and you're like wanting to be, are excited when breweries make things and go and like support it and turn your friends onto it, that's great.
Yeah.
If you're like negative about stuff and you're just like, giving bad ratings because you don't like a certain thing and you're like, but you think you're an expert in stuff, or that's just negative and not helping anyone other
Yeah.
than yourself feel good. And that beer geek is not helping craft beer. That beer geek is a jerk.
Yeah, it is. It is funny too to know like what kind of what kind of geek you're dealing with,
Right.
And maybe they're your flavor, maybe they're not. Because I was down, I went on a kind of a whiskey trip down to Kentucky recently, and somebody was telling me about different breweries down there, and one of them was like, "Oh, this place, highly recommended. Especially if you love like awesome sours and stuff." I was like, "Okay, do I want to go to a sour brewery? I don't know. Let me look it up." And it was all like peanut butter jelly sour. I was like, no.
Yeah.
I don't want
Not
that.
for me.
I was talking to someone, a guy in Mexico, who's like, what's the deal with sour beer? And I'm like, well, brother,
Yeah.
it's our last day. I don't know if I get into it with you. But he's like,
Right.
is it shitty of me to go to this brewery and like their like pineapple sour? And I'm like, no, that sounds delicious. I would love that, especially in this environment.
This shitty stuff? No. Okay.
No, he was just the question was like, is it, there's a lot of authenticity he's dealing with in, Ricea and stuff. And then he's like, is it inauthentic for me to go to this place and like this thing? And it's like, well, no. But also if it was a peanut butter, blah, 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 I would probably be like, yeah, dude, don't like that. Don't like ultimately like what you like.
Yes.
And be positive to people about it. But I don't know.
Well-
also, just don't drink like smooge.
Thanks to everyone for. It's hard to find it now. Thanks to anyone who sent the letters. We have more, so keep sending them in. It's awesome. I mean, some of these topics are things that we hadn't thought of. So if you have a question or a topic that you would like to hear people who don't really know anything, that would be me. Or people who do know stuff, that would be the rest of these folks. Drop us a line. It's always in the show notes. Handwritten is always lovely. But electronic versions of letters are also acceptable. Before we get out of here, are there any final words that people would like to impart? Anything? Mr. Hobbs?
No, I don't really have much.
Okay.
This was great.
No.
No.
I don't either.
All right. Well, by the time we record our next show, I think we're doing a Jeopardy next
Ooh,
time.
yeah.
Yeah.
New Jet Beer D Master.
What is that?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like a
It's like Jeopardy, but
trivia
beer.
and blind tasting
Oh.
game that we do.
Nice.
Nice.
It's humbling is what it is.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But we'll know by then if we've retained the Golden Sparkler for the third straight year.
Oh, dude, it's
Don't even. I mean,
you're gonna retain the sparkler. Dude.
We'll see.
You can't beat Ambler, Pennsylvania.
No, it's now Seattle too. Now we have Machine
Still.
House, who invented March Madness. They've thrown their hat into the ring. So
Are you getting some of that here?
maybe next year.
Maybe next year.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Sounds like some weird.
We'll see.
But still, like Seattle's like
Yeah.
not big enough. We got to beat them.
well, come out and drink some mild. Help the cause. But we'll know.
Always do.
So thanks
Always
to
do, guys.
our guests and our resident Fade Master, and thanks to everyone who listened. We'll see you next time. So long.
Remember this is what we wanted. Remember this is what we said. To never be heard or seen from again. Remember this is what we wanted. Remember this is what we said. To never be heard or seen from again. Remember this is what we wanted. Remember this is what we said. To never be heard or seen from again.